You guys have something quick for clarification on your lease?
Yeah, we just had some questions that.
Yeah, and I was finding the answers out to it, so.
Pretty much anything that you want.
It sounds like that lease was renewed in 2007, right? And that's what you assume, and so it's the 40 acres at $10 an acre.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it.
And so we're good there. The other question was, and I've already mentioned this to Lance, was access. And I talked to you about this. There is an easement in there, a county easement,
To get to that.
to get to that property back
On
there
the south
through
side,
Lopez's,
southeast,
through Lopez's property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think we've got a easement, there's no problem there. The only other question is time frame of when you need them to be
So
moved.
one other question, there was a letter there that was written in 2017
Yeah,
that asked them to move locations.
well, it doesn't ask them to move it, it gives them permission to move.
Yes.
Gives permission to move its operation. And
Yep.
so, I guess it'd be nice if they had at least a yearly advance notice so that they can get grass reseeded and
Yeah,
everything.
so I think that in 2017, the intent was to have them
Go ahead and
get
move.
there and move.
That letter, all that letter says is, gives us permission to move to the corner.
Yeah,
That's all that letter says.
Are you needing to get in there to?
And
So-
so when you guys start mining towards us, and you get close enough to our existing field, we will move.
So I think we're going to need to start getting closer. And so as fast as you can make arrangements to move over into that other area, the better for you guys.
Wasn't it said at the meeting the other day, your time frame was about 5 years of getting to where we are?
I said, well, the comment that I made was, it won't probably be more than 5 years.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
that's right. When I asked him, I said 5 years, 10 years, and he said, well, within 5 years. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so realistically then, are we talking 1 year or 5 years or 3?
I
We can
can't tell
move-
you that for certain.
We can move within the 5-year time frame, correct?
it might need to be sooner than that.
It might need to be, right.
So,
I would, if I was you, I would start making arrangements to move as soon as you can.
Okay.
That way you'll be in the new location that you move to for as long as you can.
Well, we have at least a year.
Well, yeah. Now, when you
Right.
guys start mining that, is there a way to mine that straight according to the land and then use our corner last?
Well, that was the reason we asked you to move to that corner.
Right.
Back in 17, because that would be the last little section that we would ever excavate or mine out.
Yeah, because that corner is kind of a funky little corner thing.
Well, that's why we asked you to move there. 'Cause,
Yes.
You know, you guys fly lawnmowers out there, so you're. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that corner, that's the last one we'll ever excavate, so that would be the best spot for you guys.
and I assume that would be decades, wouldn't it? 20, 30 years or?
It all depends on the projects we have out that way,
Yeah.
whether we move anything in to do a crush or haul pit run out of.
Okay,
We're headed that way now. Our last chip crush we did, we started coming that way. We have a big pile of dirt that needs to be moved, but
I guess
I
is
would-
what I'm hearing, is I would suggest you plan on in a couple of years
Yeah, okay.
being underway moving. Is that fair to say, Lance?
How long does
Yeah.
it take for the seed?
Could I throw one question out there for you guys? Could we buy that corner?
No.
Could we long-term lease it?
Gravel pits are extremely difficult to get zoned.
I understand that,
And
yeah.
it's kind of prime property. And we need those.
Is there a long-term lease option?
that'd put us in the same situation, I think, as buying it. You know, you may wanna start looking, I don't know what other facilities
You
might be
can't.
available.
Flying fields are like gravel pits.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's horrendously hard to find a flying field, horrendously hard. I mean, people's talked about letting us, the city talked about moving out to Noyes Park. Well, there's no water. And if we have a grass one way, we've gotta have water. So that's, it's tough, it's extreme. I've, driven around the county for years, and because this has been coming up, I have looked for places to maybe put a field in, and it's just horrendously hard. Now, I looked at you used to have a landfill out to Iona that you covered, but I've been told we can't use that, we can't put water on that.
I was gonna say the water's the problem,
Yeah,
you know,
because it's not lined or something, is that what I get?
the water goes down into the old
The one I
landfill.
own is turning into a soccer pitch, is it?
What?
It's not the one I own is turning into a soccer pitch.
I don't think so.
They had talked about turning it into a park, but that was a couple of years ago and I haven't heard anything since.
How long
It is
have,
not
So it
annexed.
was.
how long have we been in that current gravel pit? Where you're
Lopez?
mining now, yeah.
Quite a while.
20 years?
Yeah, it's been
More than that.
25 years. that
Yeah,
I
well,
can
since you
remember.
bought it from the state, right?
Well, we swapped pits. They
Yeah,
wanted to take a grain pit that was next to the river for.
It's been 25 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been 20.
It was like
20 years.
97-ish, I wanna say, 98. Yeah,
I have to research it.
yeah, no,
It's been a while.
it's been a while.
I guess that might give you some comfort that, in my mind, it'll probably be a while.
Yeah, if we move to the corner, we can probably outlive our life. We can, yeah.
It might be your people coming behind you,
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
worrying about
exactly,
it.
Exactly, okay,
And me,
okay, yeah. Yeah, probably most of us in this room.
Yeah.
Okay.
any other questions that you have
No?
or concerns? Okay, I appreciate you coming in.
Sure.
We appreciate your help.
We
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it was clarified.
You guys don't know how valuable that is for us. It's just awesome, you know? We raise money for the Veterans Mobility Corps every year, you know, it's
It was
awesome.
great to see your pictures and your videos.
Yep. We'll
Keep-
bring you some flyers for this year's paintball shoot.
Keep
How's that?
flying, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we got, is this gonna be a few minutes or,
I don't know.
no, you don't know what they want?
Well,
We gotta have at least 6 months anyway. Push it out.
I'm gonna start the timer for 3 minutes. If you're not done, we'll buzz
Do we
you out.
have plats we can take care of or what?
We don't have any plats. I have a local professional services agreement. That's the only action item that needs to have a signature on it.
And it's for,
This is for the two bridges on 45th East, one over Willow Creek and the one over Sand Creek. It's been in the bridge program for a while now. It's taken them almost 2 years after we selected the engineering company to get to the point where they actually are willing to sign an agreement and move forward with the design.
Wow.
okay,
So
we okay?
Yes.
there's just a place for one signature needed there. I don't know why it's 94 pages either, but it is.
Because it's a government document. Right?
Did you find all the things that were hidden in there besides the bridges?
Hopefully not.
That's a, we've got a better pen.
Has it got a rubber stopper on the end of it
Oh,
still?
maybe.
No.
That's the same pen.
It's a bad spot on the paper.
No, this pen works perfect.
Sure,
I
I
know
know.
that thing.
little scratchy. Did you dent your ball?
Okay. Mr. Becko?
Well, we're still struggling to get building permits. I'd like to get to the bottom of it somewhere, but it kind of seems to grow on us all the time. I need to find out where we're at, what we have to do, and try to get it done sometime in 2020.
So right now, we're still waiting on some information on the bridges, because the state is going to expect that information when they give it to their bridge inspector. I need that information on the as-bills for the bridge to be able to give to the state, so their state inspected bridge guy can have what those bridges are made out of, if we're gonna accept them as a county bridge.
And just what is it that you need?
I believe that John had written and said we need the density testing for underneath the bridges, how they were put in, the concrete testing, what was put over the top of it, if it was sealed, how it was sealed. I believe John had communicated with Connect on some of that.
Have you received the as-bills?
The as-bills came in, I believe, but they didn't have the testing that was associated.
Okay, so I can follow with the engineering firm that did the bridges.
Which I believe
I've
is,
been in contact with
Okay,
them.
and
they
then,
were supposed to get some
So
testing
all we're
on
waiting for, so if we
restraint.
have the bridge as-built, we need, density compaction tests. Do we need to reach out to the precast manufacturer and grab some precast?
as much information as we can get on those bridges so that we can share that with the state.
Okay.
How long will it take once you get it?
You do know that some of that densities, like those bridges are founded on bedrock, right?
Yes,
So density testing is impossible.
but what we might need to do is do a DFR to show, hey, it was set on bedrock. And then that way it checks that box rather
What do you
than,
mean a DFR?
just some sort of,
Certification that you
yep, a
put on.
certification, a synopsis saying that no foundation compaction tests were taken because there was bedrock present, and that way we can include that in the packet.
So the as-built show that it's founded on bedrock, which is different.
Were there testing that were shown that was done on bedrock? Your as-built show that it was there, but was there any verification, any inspector on site that saw that happen?
Me,
Okay, do you have daily diaries that you can give us that says that?
we have pictures, we can give you whatever you need, we just need to know what you want. I thought the as-bills were what I certified that this was what happened.
So testing requirements, the as-bills, you certify the as-bills are there, yes. But we also have testing results that show that it met those certain specifications. So if you had density testing, or if you had, it was on bedrock, or if you had information that we can share with the state about how those bridges were constructed, that's what I need. I need to be able to show it to them so their bridge inspector can actually come out and do an inspection on it.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking for is what do you need on the bedrock? We can give you pictures that shows it was founded on bedrock.
Show me as much information as what you have that it is on bedrock.
Okay,
If it's pictures, it's pictures. If it's daily diary, it's daily diaries. If it's both, that's great.
okay.
How are we on the rest of the list of things?
Most of the rest of the list of things can be accomplished with fairly short order. So
Are you,
there's a few spots in the asphalt that are gonna be repaired. I'm told before chip seal, the chip seal is gonna be a conditional. There's mailbox pads, there's a few other things, but, there's a few of those things that can be bonded for or whatever, so.
Okay, there's chip seals, mailbox pads, what else is there?
I didn't write the letter, I didn't do the inspection, Doyle, so I think it
So
was all
in-
conveyed.
Yeah, in the request for acceptance, there's an Exhibit A, which is John Tollis's letter to the county that shows what he saw as outstanding items. And so there is the mailbox clusters, the mailbox pullout, the centerline monuments that has been completed as of last Friday. So they were able to get in and get that done. So he pointed out that there is a little bit of bridge. He was questioning if the sealing process for the bridge structure has been completed. But every one of, with the exception of the bridge sealing, every component that was pointed out in the items. Yes. Yeah, so on number 1, we have the centerline PI monuments that were set as of last Friday. The install the mailbox clusters is included in our engineer's estimate for things that need to be completed. The mailbox turnout is installed in our engineer's estimate. The asphalt repair is also included in our engineer's estimate. There was one question that there seems to be a little bit of a debris that's it's in the right of way from some construction that was just worked around. That needs to come through. I'm assuming that your dirt guys can come in and blow through that right away.
Just where they had a power pole, they
Yep.
couldn't do it till Utah Power and Light tore the pole down. They've taken the pole down now, it's a pile of paper,
Yeah.
45 foot high.
Yep, and so we have got every item included on here is included in our engineer's estimate. We made clear that when we submitted our request for acceptance, that we listed these items in Exhibit A as items to be complete upon receiving a conditional acceptance.
But the problem is not the letter, we got that, everything we've addressed on the letter is we continue to come up with more things that we don't know about. One of them is you still think we ought to build a turnaround at the end? That's what we were told last week.
I didn't say that.
That's what was shown on the.
It's not what was shown on the as-bills, it's what was shown on the original drawing before we confirmed the city access.
Right, it says that it was not installed, is what it says on the as-built.
Right. Because we obtained the right of way,
Why would you need a turnaround if, I know it's a gravel road and a path, but. you
It
can
was
still
just
get
shown
through
on
it.
the approved improvement plan.
before we got the letter from the
Right.
city, and we went through that mess, they insisted that we have a turnaround on the end, so we put it on there. And then we got the approval, got that done, and then we didn't build it.
So is that a problem?
No.
Okay, so it sounds like that's gonna be
It's
taken care of.
taken care of.
And it's the same thing, with the concrete testing. We're not told we need a quality control plan. We're not told this is the test we need. I mean, if the state has a requirement, we should have that list before we even start, so we know what we provide. I've talked to the concrete supplier. We've got 2 cylinders on each bridge that they have. I still gotta get them from them because we weren't told about it. It wasn't on the list. Wouldn't have anything to do with the list or what we've done, but we just keep adding things to it.
I'm not sure that list came out before you started the bridges
This list came out April 5th.
of this year.
Yes.
Yeah, but stuff you're asking for, stuff you wanted before you started building the bridges.
Say that again.
Well, you're asking why weren't we notified what you needed on bridges when we started building the bridges?
Well, no, if you have things that you need to give the state, we need to have what those are when we're building it so that it's like a quality control plan. So that we know when we get done what we gotta provide. We don't know that. We turn in the as-bills and then somebody says, oh, well, we gotta have cylinders.
Well, keep it in perspective, this was an unusual bridge instead of building a new one because you wanted to reuse some.
This is a new bridge too.
Yeah, it's
It's
both.
what?
A new bridge too.
It's both.
More so, the frustrating thing for us is that we're trying to respond. We responded with the as-bills, and now we need to respond with adding concrete tests, so we're trying to respond to that. Now we need to respond with, the first time I've heard about bedrock needing further images or anything from that is right now. And so we can supply what we have, or we can generate things, but it would be nice to have that concise. We can generate, even if we didn't, like, we luckily have the concrete cylinders, but we can go do in situ testing on the bridge to verify density. That's less my complaint. More my complaint is that I don't have a list of things that you need. And what I think Doyle's frustrated with is we scramble to get the as-bills done. Then we scramble to get the concrete testing done, and then we're at a 10 o'clock meeting. And now I'm gonna go back and pull my pictures together to get those into you. We can do that. I could have done that 2 weeks ago with the as-bills if that was a requirement. I just needed to know, I need to know what the minimum standard I'm going
So
for is.
how long, if they get those to you, how long is it gonna take to get the state guy out here?
The state guy will come at a later date. I mean, I'll provide the information for the state, and they'll have to schedule with the bridge inspector to come.
Okay, so where does that put us as far as permits?
What it does is if we get all the testing results in that I can submit to the state, we can do a conditional acceptance on a subdivision. But the bridge is part of the subdivision.
Okay, so if they get that to you the next day or two, can we get the conditional acceptance?
We can-
Along with this list that they've taken care of.
We should be able to get a conditional acceptance letter for you for next week, next Wednesday,
Well,
or whenever. I
oh
mean,
yeah, cause you could put it on any time on our 9 o'clock stuff. Doesn't have to wait for a week if you get it quicker.
Well, so you still have to wait for 48 hours, but yeah.
Yeah, it can't be 24 on our 9 o'clock, cause we publish that every,
9 o'clock, okay.
yeah, we publish that daily. So it's already met the 5-day requirement of 48 hour, but in some cases that you consider urgent, you can do a 24-hour notice.
Okay,
If that one day will make a difference, if not, we can do it. But that depends, what's today, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
How soon can you get the information over to Lance?
We can pull those pictures today. Doyle's already found the concrete testing here that should be acceptable. Are those 2 cylinders on each bridge acceptable? Do you need more data than that?
Send us the information you have on it.
Okay,
Send us everything you have on the testing of the bridges that you did.
okay.
And then we'll forward it, and it's kind of up to them to make sure they've got enough testing to satisfy the state.
Yeah,
If it doesn't, then the state will require some additional.
stuff, yeah.
Okay, is that understood?
Yep.
Okay,
So we're testing of concrete and images of, or bedrock images.
Send us everything you have on the construction of those bridges.
including logs, from what he said, it would help.
Rebar reinforcement properties,
Everything you have on the construction of the bridges.
Are you guys working together?
so I am from Connect Engineering, the civil engineer that did the subdivision.
Okay, all right, just trying to find out.
They done all the roads, he done the bridges,
Okay,
and the compaction, was under the roadway. We done the footings, and then we brought it up with non-compactable material to the subgrade, and then HK brought all the subgrade up against the bridges.
Again, I can go through any field notes that I have and produce DFRs on any scope items that are outside of the bridge scope. And I can, do compaction reports, field investigation notes. I can do a DFR to cover that section, and then we'll step into the bridge scope, and you can just collect as much information as he can to give to the state, so that when they do, they've got concrete tests, rebar tests, installation tests through foundation.
Everything we have.
Yep, to everything that they can
so
conceivably
if you got it the
find.
next day, the earliest we could do it would be Friday, or more likely Monday, to get it on our agenda for conditional.
Okay, we've bounced back and forth on the bonding. Does it have to be bonded?
These amounts on what needs to be finished do. on what's estimated, and it's gonna be very small.
Yeah, and the most recent engineer's cost estimate that we produced is broken into Division 1 and Division 2 with the price and a prorated percentage of each item. So the mailbox clusters have been separated versus how much is attributed to Division 1, how much is attributed to Division 2. And I guess the question that we had is Division 1 still being governed by the original development agreement and does not need a bond?
Yes.
Okay, so we are only bonding for the
I
percentages of,
stand corrected.
But we were also at the last meeting, you guys indicated that for the chip seal and the mailboxes, we didn't need to bond that. Do the conditional acceptance with us doing that with.
For the chip seal, they usually don't bond for the chip seal,
Okay,
but mailbox clusters, we have asked for that.
okay, so
I
we can
don't-
reduce that bondable amount,
As
and
long as
remove the chip
there's, I
seal,
mean,
seal coat.
The conditional acceptance basically says the developer's gonna put in the chip seal within a year.
Okay.
and the mailbox clusters, are they difficult to put in or something?
But we just gotta have the weather, we just gotta go our concrete base and then
I
put them
thought you were
in.
powerful enough to control this weather.
Well,
He's
I'd like
not
to
doing a
get
good
you to
job.
come out and let us decide. But the problem is, we go back into the same AC-doocy. Okay, half of the mailbox clusters are in Division 1. We don't have to bond for that. So only half of them we have to bond.
Okay.
I mean, it is so convoluted.
All right, we've got a plan that we're gonna move forward as quick as we can, so let's do it. I mean, I enjoy seeing you, but I don't like to see you this often in these circumstances, so let's get it done.
Just put me on the agenda for every week, Monday, and I'll be there.
Then I'd wanna retire. Okay, so we, as soon as you get that stuff, get it on our agenda.
Okay.
I mean, realistically, probably Monday, if you can get it in the next day or so. If not, it'll be Wednesday. Shoot for that, but I hope we don't come back in, then there's a whole list of other things. Tell them what you need.
Yeah, they won't,
Specifically,
I mean-
do it with an email, so we've got documentation.
and then that's why I've had John communicate
Yep.
with him, and
Right.
he was the one inspecting it, so.
Yeah, just keep the, written record like you're asking them for, so we can come back and defend ourselves. So, okay?
So you want me to bond the second half of the email clusters, of the mailbox clusters?
I would say, yeah.
How much is that gonna be?
Well, by the time that we
Not much.
remove the seal coat portion and the fog coat portion,
It's not much.
yeah, there's like $3,000 remaining, maybe 3,500.
You'll just have to buy a little less jet fuel this time around. It'll be okay.
If I go to the bonding company and ask them for a $3,000 bond, they're gonna laugh at me.
Well, just put a $3,000 surety in some type of an account. Don't we accept that?
That could work too. I
Which
mean,
by,
or
which
bring
by
us
the
a
time you get the paperwork
$3,000
done,
check. I
the
mean,
weather's gonna change and you can get them
No, it's
billed.
150%, it's not 3,000, we gotta go.
Oh, it'll be 45, it'll be
50%.
4,500. So,
I mean,
And then you
could
gotta
drop
schedule me
off a
every
check to
Wednesday
us.
to get that back, I'll have to be coming in here to get it turned loose.
Okay, we'll send you after him. Cause he does it with a smile.
If you keep the attitude up, I'm gonna start taking some off the top before you get back.
All right.
Let you get out of the turnip.
Well, talk to him, he's got a lot of turnips on his truck. That's an inside joke. So, all right,
okay, well, thank you so much.
okay. And then please communicate back the best we can.
See you, right.
Oh, it was good seeing you.
Yeah, you too.
Okay,
All right.
See you later.
Thanks.
See ya.
I know.
It's too bad, Daisy.
not for me yet. I'm used to doing it. You just do what you can.
So Dave, you wanna talk
Should
about?
ask him if we had that gate put in on Lincoln yet, but I didn't wanna fire him up.
So here is an updated, chapter 5 of the transportation plan. That $2 million
So what they did
scenario
is,
added into it.
yeah, they added another scenario as a $2 million a year, and they kept the $3 million a year scenario in there too, and showed you what the difference was between the remaining service lives.
Because, for example, this is why it's difficult to forecast this, with that new revenue, that they provided in transportation, they suggest we use for one-time projects. That's something you could kind of speed up the seal code and kind of catch up on the maintenance, which extends it. So is there any way to kind of modify this as you go?
Yeah, once we adopt it or authorize it or whatever, we can continually update it as we need to.
Because if we get several of these road projects out of the way too.
Yeah, well, and that's what the overall plan, it shows most of the county roads in there, and so as we get stuff done, we'll update the plan to show that they're done.
I don't know if Mike, if you're aware of that new funding that got put in the transportation. A third of it goes cities, third goes highway district, and a third goes to counties. Do you know what Ammon's getting on that?
I don't.
I think LTAC has a breakdown. IAC didn't, but he said LTAC might.
I do know we're gonna get funding for our 17th Street Bridge.
Yeah, this is an ongoing appropriation that they've put in the budget. That's what the governor was touting, is how much money they've put additional into transportation this year. But just FYI, you might want to check on that.
So if you wanna review this, we'd like to get on the agenda in a couple weeks to actually kind of adopt the overall transportation plan and finish it up, so.
On your seal code, when do we have to know how much, when you're ordering oil and stuff?
We've already ordered.
Can you add to it if we need to on seal code?
If we hurry.
Yeah. Pretty quick if we would, but before you do that, you might wanna take a ride down County Line Road. And rather than putting money into a seal code as a one-time thing, County Line Road is in desperate need right now. This spring has been bad on it.
East of,
75th east to Ryrie.
yeah,
So there's
East of the
potentially
highway.
4 miles that are real bad. But
7
2 are
miles,
worse.
well, there's at least 4 miles that is pretty bad.
And that's bringing it back up to a BST or?
Well, so what we'd like to do versus what we can afford to do are two different things.
Okay, what we'd like to do would be probably a 2-inch mat, right?
Well, dig it up, rebase it, and do a 2-inch mat, at least. I'd probably say a 3 or 4 inch
I would agree, but we need to rebuild that road as a
commercial grade road.
commercial grade road.
But
There's a lot of trucks on there. We're having issues with the trucks on there right now, hauling from Ryrie over.
So if you leave the potholes big enough, they'll find another route.
They haven't.
Potholes,
finding another route.
it's not potholes we're dealing with right now.
It's
We're
sinkholes.
craters and,
It's bad.
yeah.
If you, yeah,
What's the difference in the cost of rebuilding it at BST versus?
rebuilding it is gonna be quite a bit higher than a BST. It just will be.
Well, I know, but don't you have to rebuild the base to get a good VST on
Yeah.
anyway?
Yeah. But a BST usually in a 3-shot, it's not meant for heavy truck traffic and as much heavy truck traffic as we're getting.
Realistically, you wouldn't be able to get that going this year anyway, would you?
We're gonna have to do something, and, yeah, realistically, if, it depends on money, but we might have to contract it out to try to get it rebuilt, if we contracted it out with somebody.
With the late spring, long winter, however you wanna look at it, we haven't even begun our spring projects that we've had scheduled, and time-wise, we need to cut projects out so that we can even get done with what we had scheduled to do. We haven't even begun to open the mountain roads. And talking with Caribou and Bingham County, they're even pushing their roads back. They're with their commissioners this morning, because they have the signs up that say that roads will be open May 1st, and there's no way that's gonna happen, so.
Okay, so we have a gate on Eagle Pass.
Yeah.
And Kebs.
Mhm.
How far back do you have to get it open before you open that gate?
You have to get.
Actually, you need to get clear to Fall Creek Road, clear up on top of Skyline, because if you open that gate, then they'll drop down off of Skyline onto Fall Creek Road, and if you haven't got Fall Creek open from Swan Valley side.
Because you're gonna get some grief, you know, when it opens up to Blaine's house, you know, because then that's the first place it dries out.
Yeah.
You know, from the wind people and everybody else.
When are you estimating opening them?
We haven't estimated.
You
yet.
don't even have a date yet?
We're gonna start looking next week at some of our lower Ryrie roads that we have closed through the winter. We tried last week a little bit, and that snow was so deep and rock hard. Obviously the past few days, it's softened up quite a bit. So we'll take a good look next week at starting on some of these lower ones, and hopefully we can get through them. Out west, we pretty much have them all opened up, and now they're all underwater.
I was gonna say, when all this finally is over, we're gonna see a lot of damage on the roads out west, I think. You know, because
I
there's
already
so
have.
much water on those shoulders, you know.
Yeah, on the oil, yes.
And there's trucks, quite a bit of truck traffic, you know, guys are starting to haul seed spuds and stuff, so I just think we're gonna see some damage.
Yeah. We closed 105th West this morning between 113th North and the county line, because it's under 8 inches of water. If there wasn't any water on the road yesterday, and now it's completely underwater.
And West Broadway is under.
West Broadway, I don't know, I was yesterday.
That was yesterday, how much
Today, it's probably,
6 feet?
you can't
4
see
feet
the
of
fence
water.
post. Yeah. Last night, the state had a big issue there at 115th with water over the state road. They
The
had,
highway out to the
Arco
side.
Highway.
yeah, up the Arco Highway.
Did they close it, or?
No, they had the state police out there slowing everybody way down one at
That's
a
why they
time.
didn't have them on 26.
Yeah,
They got up
same thing, yeah.
trying to push the snow back with a great big front end loader and got it stuck. And then we're gonna pull it out with dump trucks and had nobody doing traffic control, and half the road, a river flowing down the highway, and it looked like it was gonna be a rodeo.
It washed out quite a bit of the state along the side of the road, plus it took out part of 115th West.
How much more snow is there to come off?
it would have been good kayaking on
Out.
26.
Out on the desert in Osgood, there's still, you know,
Pretty good whitewater.
6-7 inches. I mean,
200
there's still 4 or 5 days of heavy runoff at least.
Well, tomorrow it's
Yeah.
supposed to.
In where
snow
I am,
again.
it's starting to work, it's pretty much gone. I think we're over the hump, getting closer to,
Is the water not running where you are?
it was still running last night, but as this morning, it looked like most of it was gone.
That is slowed down quite a bit.
But we'll still get all that from the desert come in. There's some places that'll still continue to have problems.
What's happening up at the landfill in the leachate pond?
So we were expecting it to overfill, and so we contacted DEQ, set up an emergency plan. We're pumping out of the manhole right before the leachate pond, pumping it out into where the storm water is flowing, and it's gonna go down to the stormwater pond that's there. We're probably gonna have to do some monitoring and testing of that later on when it dries up. But I got that proposed plan over to DEQ this morning after getting some more information from Great West this morning.
How much more snow you got to come off up there?
Quite a bit,
Really?
yes. Yeah,
'Cause it
the
filled
west
before.
side, well, it's a great big bathtub. So the west side is mostly
You may
down.
want a bath in it, but.
Yeah, well, right now you probably could, but, the west side is clearing out. The west side of the floor, Blair was saying, was getting close down to the gravel. On the east side and the east slope, there's still 4 or 5 feet. So, it's just, it's a lot of water, and he was pumping out there probably till past 10 last night. We told him we were pumping peak hours as much as we could to dilute what's happening. So when cell 4 got finished, they breached cell 3, and all of the leachate coming out of cell 1, 2, and 3 flows down through cell 4 and puddles up at the bottom. And so most of what's coming through there into the pond is fairly dilute, because it's all of the snow and snow melt, but you still have some leachate with it, so. We're working with DEQ trying to get emergency authorization, even though we had to start pumping yesterday. We really don't want the leachate pond itself to overflow, because that gets into problems with the pond itself. And so we felt it was better to pump out of the manhole before it got there.
I guess back to what we started the discussion, I don't see how we're gonna be able to do county line this year the way you want to do it. I mean, we're gonna have to,
I don't think internally, forces wise, we could do it.
I think we're just gonna have to get by, and, I mean, would it help if you get it patched up to lower the speed limit on that, and slow those trucks
And
down?
we're working on it right now, trying to put a Band-Aid on it to get us until the hot plants open up. We're still using winter mix right now. We've got a lot of frost heaves that we've dug out and put fabric and some geogrid down and put 3/4 on there, and we have to babysit them until the hot plants fire up to where we can finish them. So it's,
And they're
yeah,
not
we'll be
looking up,
babysitting it.
yeah, they're not looking up to open up hot plants until at least May.
Until May, the middle of May now is when the hot plants are even thinking of going.
Well, in our budget this year, we'll get a list of these, see what we've got, you know, set aside for projects, and make some adjustments.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll just close all the roads, out
Turn it
to
back
the
to-
park.
Well, we'll just turn them all back to gravel.
Did you do 115?
Pardon?
Have you opened 115, the one up to Foster's?
No. Not yet.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
Maybe next week.
Oh, really?
I said maybe.
Yeah, except you're gonna have a couple days that the melt slows down.
Yeah, they're not even no bare spots. if you drive up 115th from the other way, there's no bare spots on going to that first dugway, so.
I think it's just what it is. I mean, it was that kind of winter. You guys did a tremendous job just keeping all the roads open and plowed this winter. It was incredible the way you guys worked and kept up on that kind of year. And so people are gonna have to understand that it's gonna be a late open on those roads.
Let's hope they understand.
If we need
They're
to,
gonna have to.
we need to defer all their attention, we can just let it slip that we're gonna keep Ryrie Reservoir closed this summer. Then they'll all get upset about that and they'll forget about it.
Okay, anything else?
So I talked with the commissioner just briefly about, we received another bill from Caribou County for Dwight Lloyd plowing.
Yeah. Their overtime's gonna be a little higher this year than it was.
Yeah,
I've had a couple of discussions with,
so we got another bill, it was
Right.
34 and a half hours of overtime for Dwight. So our agreement said we'd pay for half of his overtime. Their invoice really doesn't clarify that, so I did call. What they are showing is supposedly half of what his overtime hours were. It's just, it would be helpful when we get an agreement with Caribou County that invoices or timesheets or some way to verify what actually is happening up there.
you
'Cause right
express
now we
that to
have
them when you talk to them.
zero, well, the clerk I talked to wasn't the one that did the invoice. The one that did the invoice won't be back till Monday, and
I'll talk
Yeah.
to Bryce about it when I see him next.
so. But it was, another 34 and a half hours.
That's all.
That's, all.
Till it snows again this week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get 6 inches tonight.
Is that what they're?
The
talking
original
about?
2 to
agreement
6, yeah.
for those, that Caribou County, what
I don't
Ken
know.
Spencer provided to his commissioners had usually included a average of the previous year's overtime in it. And to pay overtime on top of what that is kind of feels like we're getting overcharged.
Well, the overtime was supposed to be for next year's, at least that was my understanding. For setting next year's budget numbers,
Well,
unless that's overtime
if
above what
that,
was
if it
budgeted.
sets next year's budget numbers, that's great, but then we shouldn't have to pay over and above that for the overtime, so. It's just, hopefully we can get an agreement with Caribou County worked out a little bit earlier in the year and make sure that we understand what's gonna happen there.
We're close on that road.
Is that, what's her name?
Tammy.
Tammy, is she still back in there?
As far as we know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I asked midwinter and the answer was yes.
Yeah, we get a couple wellness checks on her.
Yeah.
I may not go anywhere, but I have enough supplies. I will be here, and I am here all winter long.
That pioneer spirit.
Gun in her hand.
Okay,
Mike, I have something.
do you have something?
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to have you.
So I think I'm gonna try to come to these regularly, about twice a month. The second Wednesday, this particular Wednesday, the second Wednesday is probably not gonna work, because I've got traffic commission right before this, and also we have our monthly sheriff's office meeting also on the second Wednesday. So I think next week I'll be here, and that'll kind of start my every 2-week attendance at these meetings, so you guys can count on me. But I wanted to start coming to these just so we can chat, just so we can communicate, so you guys can know what Ammon's doing, and so we can be on the same page with you guys. What this is, and I'll bring this to all the meetings, this is an inventory of all of our residential developments in the city of Ammon. And the green side, that's green means go. Those are all of the subdivisions that have an approved final plat that's been signed and recorded. And the name of the subdivision's on the left, and then the total units within that subdivision, that's the next column. And then how many building permits have been issued on that subdivision, that's the next column. And then the need ERU column, that is how many need a sewer permit to flow to the URSID plant, if they're flowing to URSID. The rest of those columns are kind of for our side, for management in terms of where are they sewering, where are they getting their water from, are they seeking fiber from the AMA fiber network, are they on pressurized irrigation, and that last column is the subdivision under construction. At the bottom of that green table, that's the totals. We have a total of 1,699 entitled units on this sheet. And by the way, subdivisions fall off this sheet when they're 75% built out. And so if I've got 75% of my subdivision with building permits, they come off this sheet entirely. So this is all subdivisions that are less than 75% built out. The next one is how many building permits on this list are issued. That's 227. And that's an accurate number for how many residential permits are currently under construction in Hammond today. And then the last one, how many need ERUs. The blue table, that is our pending land use actions. And so if a project is on the blue side, that means that we actually have an application for that project, and they're working through some kind of land use process, whether it's an annexation or a plat or whatever it might be. And that's the side that we might want to talk about at this meeting more, just so you guys are aware of what applications we're getting, which roads are being impacted, which bridges are being impacted, all the rest of it. And you can see on that side right now, we've got 1,272 units. That's at the bottom of that table. That's an estimate. Those numbers are not final until the final plat's recorded. But that's an estimate of how many units are currently in the process right now. So you'll probably get used to this chart. Like I said, I'll bring it to all the meetings. But any questions that you all have on that?
Are you still on these subdivisions when you approve them, requiring the developer to build out the half section of the road at least?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, though, the council's looking
Even
at
when it's in the county?
Well,
because some of them, you know, you haven't annexed, you've left the road in the county, those are the ones where.
the answer is no to that. And so,
Why?
right now, the council is looking at an ordinance that would change that, but they haven't adopted it yet. And so the new ordinance would require the full road build out for all subdivisions.
Even to the center line, because to get an access permit, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of that you can send to me?
Sure.
So I can look at it and see what.
Absolutely, they should be aware of our access permit policy that Lance reviews as far as impact, what it would take to mitigate, to get an access permit for the subdivision to access a county road. So
It
you
should
may
match
wanna
it too.
communicate that when you're studying it.
So you want a copy of the ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay.
And probably Lance too, just so we can see if it's in line with what our policy
You
is,
bet.
or if we have any comments on it.
You'll get that from Cindy.
Perfect.
So that's a big change too, that ordinance, because it would require all improvements, not just, road build out and arterial improvements, to be complete prior to voting on the final plat. And so that's something that the council has been debating for about 18 months now. The reason that this came about was whenever a final plat's filed, that parcel of property can be transferred legally. And we've never had an issue with it in Hammond until the last 12 months. And in the last 12 months, we have had a few parcels transferred where it's completely unbuildable. There's no roads to it, there's no services to it, there's no water, sewer, etc. And so the city council felt like that was our mistake. And so they want to prevent that from happening and make sure that when that final plat is filed, every one of those lots is buildable. So, and part of that was fully building out the road adjacent to the project on all sides completely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good.
It may be helpful then if future subdivisions have on their improvement drawings, it's a place for me to look at and sign off on too before Tracy signs off on those.
On the improvement drawings?
Yeah, that way, if there is a road adjacent to it that is connects to a county road, you'll know that I've leased it.
I like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I won't look at the internal stuff, but it's just that connection to the county road.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So you're not signing off on them now then?
No.
Okay.
So if that ordinance was to go through, would they have to build out all those roads around the subdivision? Would the plan be to annex all those roads? The
Yeah.
full width, is that what part of that ordinance is gonna include, or?
In theory, yeah, but the problem, as you guys know, is the owner on the other half of the road probably doesn't have any intention of annexing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I just brought that
Yeah.
up because there might come a case
Yep.
if that passed, that if you can only get the
Yep.
half section of the road, that really Lance is gonna have to sign off on the other half section anyways, because
Right.
it's still in the county's jurisdiction that it's being built out, so.
Yeah, I think that's a real problem. But, I mean, in that situation, would you sign off on constructing the entire other half, even though it's?
So I think it depends on the situation a lot, and would have to look at it in an individual case. So, in some instances, it may not make sense. In other instances, it's like, yeah, go ahead and do this.
Yeah. Okay.
I did have one other question. Did you have a signed copy of the MOU? Both?
I think Christina has that.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know the commissioner signed it last Wednesday. You were gonna have the county,
City council. Yep, they
city
approved it.
council do it.
They
So
approved it.
we just wanna have a copy, a fully signed, executed copy here too. I haven't got that yet.
Do you want an email or?
That works.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanna make sure we have a fully executed copy here for the files. And I
Got
know
it.
that Caitlin will want one too, so.
Okay. Just send that to you, Lance?
Yeah, you can send it to me and I can get it to Caitlin.
Perfect. I can send it to you, Caleb.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You bet. Yeah, we got that all approved and signed.
Okay, and then with that First Street project, I wanna try to get together with Tracy soon and start getting information from her office.
Okay. You know, we're meeting with Rocky Mountain Power today, over lunch.
For the moving the utilities?
Well, that's one item on the agenda, but if you wanted to join us, you'd be welcome.
Okay, I think I might be able to make that right at City Hall,
Firehouse,
Firehouse,
Mhm.
okay.
Rocky Mountain Power pays, so. You probably remember those meetings with Tim.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah, if you can make it, that'd be great, because we'll be talking about moving those utilities today.
Okay, I'll try to make it.
Great.
One question I had, because I was talking to Scott this morning.
Yeah.
About the moratorium, you know, because we've had quite a bit of interest by some of the developers.
Yeah.
But we would prefer to see go back into Hammond, but we get mixed signals, and I think that's why Sean wants to get us together with the council. But when I was asking Austin about the comprehensive plan change you're making, and he indicated that he had sent an email quite a while ago to Cindy to include the county P&Z in that. Have they done that?
And include them in,
Well, you need to
Our
come-
current area of impact agreement basically states that anytime the city amends its comprehensive plan, that then the county has to review theirs, right, within the area of impact to make sure that things are compatible. And so I had just sent Cindy an email basically requesting county review of the documents so that we could make
Okay.
sure that it's not gonna affect us, and I haven't seen anything. But I've also reached out to Cindy quite a few times about starting redoing the area of impact again, just because it's quite outdated and there's probably some things we need to address. And I understand you guys have been busy with the moratorium and trying to get that cleaned up and all the ERCID stuff, but we would be open to that.
Sure.
What
At
we're
any
trying to
time.
avoid is
Yeah,
you guys passing something, handing it to us, and then it doesn't work for us. You know?
Sure.
Then we can't make
Sure.
changes that we need to make. So,
well, I can tell you what they are, but we can send that to you.
yeah, and I've talked to Cindy about it
Yeah.
on the phone, kind of the overall changes, but
Mhm.
yeah, generally, I mean, what I think we would like to see is part of the negotiations is if we have an intact area of impact agreement that the county planning and zoning commission reviews the changes at some point or has presented the changes so they can say, yeah, we probably need to make some changes in ours to help forward this and
Sure.
help drive the development more into the city, which I think is our overall goal, to try to get these, bigger developers especially to build in the city, which we just don't want to do something that's conflicting, that we get these developers pushing back into wanting to come to the county. And even with Idaho Falls impact fees, just as a small example, and they went through and did all that, and we didn't
Yeah.
really have any say in that.
Yeah.
That's put a huge burden on us for people that should be developing in the city, coming and saying, hey, well, I haven't annexed yet and I wanna build my building in the county, cause I don't wanna pay the extra $2 million in impact fees,
Well, we do not want to leave you guys out. We've got to be lockstep partners. And
If you can encourage that to get going.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
that's all
that would be
yeah,
great if we
that's
could,
for.
cause we'd like
Yeah.
to ultimately redo our whole comprehensive plan, and I've actually worked on it a little bit, but I'm trying to get, we're working with City of Idaho Falls and City of Iona right now on new
Yeah.
agreements, and I'd like to get Ammon in there, because if we can get those shaped up, that'll help shape our new comprehensive plan as well, and what we end up
Let's
doing.
get going on
so.
it. Absolutely. Do you want to start out with where Steve Sear and I left off?
Yeah, and I think, if we can just kind of, my preference is generally to kind of start on a staff level to look at the two
Sure.
documents that are proposed and say, okay, these are areas of concern we know are gonna be here, and try to weed some of that out, and then take it to the planning commission and be able to say, hey, this is what we've worked on.
Yeah.
And let them bring up any additional concerns, just because that helps them not have to have so many meetings and back
Yeah.
and forth on two totally different plans, right? If we can kind of come to agreements in the beginning of, this is something we feel like we can both support to the planning commissions, it just makes our jobs a little easier, so.
Yeah, so the big changes we were working on last time was basically deed restricting projects. So that when, which is allowed in the annexation statute, basically saying that when a project is subdivided in the county and it's within a certain distance of city limits, then when that project becomes contiguous to the city at any point on that project, then the entire project would be annexed into the city. That makes sense.
If the city extends services
Correct.
outside that.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
'Cause that's the,
And I think that,
otherwise you won't, to annex, you need to be providing the services. And it's hard to go in and annex when you're not, because it gets a lot more difficult. We've talked about these other areas.
Yeah, yeah.
We wish you would annex, but, it gets a little tougher.
I think that's where really ultimately, that's what would be best, if the city's extending their services, so that the property can still be developed. You're not tying the developer's hands and saying, well, you can't do anything because you're
waiting like a tree with growth rings.
Yeah, it's just, that's where we see the most problems, is you get this developer who's here and the city says, well, we're not ready to do anything quite yet, or we're not gonna bring our services, but then they've got adjacency in the county and we can't tell them
Yeah.
no. So
But I think.
if
when
we can work, I
will-
think that's a good direction for
I
sure.
think when we
Yeah.
talked to you before, that puts, I think, if the city of Ammon could then go talk to that piece of property in the middle that doesn't want to annex and offer them
Yeah.
reasons why they should, know, so you don't have to force annex, then you could get to that next piece of property quicker.
Yeah, we've never forced annexed a property. And I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we will always extend our services for developers that want them. And that's something that Ammon's always done, is if somebody wants to be out on the hinterlands, it's fine, they're gonna pay for it. And they're gonna pay for it in infrastructure and services, et cetera, but we would extend them wherever we can, wherever we need to.
No, if we can just get that started again, that would be great.
Absolutely.
That'd
Yeah.
help us immensely too, and being able to get our new plan put together and.
Yeah, now the comp plan review, you guys do get all of our notices, right?
Yeah, and we've kind of just requested in the past, and we've done the same thing with Idaho Falls, that basically you come before the planning commission, and the reason is because of that statement in the area of impact agreements that says our plans will be made compatible. So what we don't wanna happen is have Ammon go say, okay, well, we're changing this and this and this in our comprehensive plan. And then we look at ours and our properties in the area of impact, and it's like, well, we can't change that. It's just out of our reach as a county. And then we can't really be compatible and reach these goals we wanna reach, right, of you being able to extend services and ultimately annex the properties, so.
Because one of the things, you know, we modeled the Hammond's area of impact when we redid that after Idaho Falls, but in Idaho Falls, we put should, compatible. Somehow it got into Hammond's as shall, which you can't do that.
Yeah.
It just ties our hands a little bit, so.
And we like our current area of impact agreement.
No, I think it's good. I don't think there's a ton of stuff that needs to change, just maybe some refining of
I agree. I think it's a good
a few of
agreement.
those things.
In
so.
2001, it's a good map. It's worked to Ammon's benefit. I feel like we've been able to work together.
Of course, then, you know, to deal with our planning and zoning, you need to, you know, because one thing we're talking city of Idaho Falls, if there's no way you're ever gonna make that part of your city, does it need to be in your area of impact?
Right.
So you kind of have to adjust
Yeah.
that.
And that's,
to the right size.
that's really the only thing I've pushed super hard on these new agreements that we've been working on, is really focusing and drilling down on the aspect that talks about areas that are reasonably serviceable. And I did the same thing with Iona, you know, they wanted all of the foothills, and I said, how are you gonna get services up there?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know, we just like to protect it. It's like, well, then you're not putting that in your agreement yet. I'm fine in 5 years if you've got services up there and say, okay, here's our plan to service this whole area, come back to me and I'll let you have that in your area of impact, you know? We'll go through the process, but it's these areas that it's like, there's no way we can get services here within the next 10 years. That to me, it's like, let's revisit these maps more often, have more of a working relationship, and not just throw a whole big area on a map and say, well, we might get here someday, cause that makes it hard too, you know?
I feel like our current map is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, what we've talked about is we'd like to see that area down along the sewer.
Absolutely.
Because we do not want
Totally agree.
subdivisions out there, you know, like we do up in this area.
Like down along the.
So there
Ursa
might
line.
be, to your point, there might be some area, you know, along the Ursa line that, hey, it makes sense to put more of this into the area of impact with Ammon, so that the county's not dealing with that in those big developments in the long run. So that's the kind of stuff we wanna look at and that's what we've been working on with Idaho Falls too, is we basically pulled up a utility map. We had them show us where their utilities were and what we thought was and wasn't reasonable and our reasons why, and who knows where it'll end up, but that's kind of our goal, I guess.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, is that a meeting we had or just?
I think it was just Brian and John, who's the commissioner from Bannock County.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it'd be helpful if you pop in here like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'll try to be here twice a month, and it'll probably be
This one took a little longer than normal, because usually by 10:30 we're wrapped up with our routine stuff. But we have a repeat customer that can, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.